All right, we should be live. Audio seems to be working on my end. We'll wait and see if anyone can confirm that they can hear us in the chat. We do have a couple of viewers already. So yeah, hey guys in the chat, feel free to just type in you hear me and you hear the bros.
And halfway out.
All
Hopefully
right.
there's no echoes
We
on our
should
side
be
this time.
live. Oops, sorry, I had my audio on my other thing. There was a slight delay there, but hopefully that should not reproduce itself. But either way, until someone says otherwise, we'll start the stream.
Test your sound.
So, it's working. I have questions. Do we ask them here? Yes. Okay, cool. So I do see questions. Yes, just type them in there, and we'll get to them once we're able to. We're going to let things accumulate for a bit, and then we'll see what we can answer in terms of questions. Right. So, yeah, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, it's October
1st. How's it going up there in Canada, Scotty?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a little gray today, a little cold, but there's no snow yet, so that's a good thing.
So you're saying it's like perfect, cold and gray?
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. My Irish ancestry makes me susceptible to really heat stroke easily. So if it's too hot, I just I can't do it. So if it's cool,
sounds like football weather.
Yeah. There you go.
So why talk about football? I forgot. There's football there. Yeah. Talk about football today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got your football stuff. I was gonna say it's October 1st, so that means it's Halloween all month for me. So
yeah.
I wait for October, then it's orange everywhere, and I eat
I'm
candy.
Gonna be watching Walking Dead nonstop for a change, just like last month.
For a change, right?
It's a Grand Con T-shirt. It's a convention. So I was asking what's on your shirt.
Oh yeah, it's a wizard, a lion wizard or something.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't even see that question. There you go.
It's my only one of my few non-black or non-green shirts.
Yeah, it's true. I guess your wardrobe must be mostly green, and
it is.
Adam's
I gotta mix it
blue.
up.
Is that a reality? People are probably asking all the time because you always have the blue and the green thing going on. Is your wardrobe mostly those colors?
Yeah, it's kind of carryover because you kind of grow up. You get a lot of the same clothes growing up, so you got to have at least different colors, and I just get attached to certain colors. Greens and browns usually for me.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I guess with that we'll just get to a couple of talking points. We'll start us off, and then we'll take some questions from the viewers. So I guess first things first. Let's see here. So. Yesterday we had an update about the add-ons that are available during the campaign. Some people had questions about what is what, so we kind of tried to address the most common questions people had. But I guess we can go over a couple of the more popular add-ons for those who are joining the campaign for the first time. Might be like, what's this? What's that? So on screen here, I will show the first one that most people are talking about, which is there we go, the Scions of Disgrace, the team pack. So I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and explain to everyone what this is. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll let you guys talk it up a bit.
Yeah, this is the perfect team for you to get during October. Perfect Halloween team.
It's festive.
So this is actually inspired and reflective of another fantasy football team, necromantic horror team. Pretty much represents just what's we're looking for, common tropes in horror. So we werewolf, ghoul,
the staples,
flesh golem, zombies, and of course the wraith. So this is a very cool, diverse team. I think pretty easy to tell these guys apart on the field.
And their colors are super autumny. So it's really appropriate, really festive.
Yeah, I'm just a big fan of the fact that there's a werewolf in there. I'm a big werewolf guy in terms of my horror preferences, so that really speaks to me. But
I don't know if we're fully decided upon the wraith yet. I'm assuming we can make it translucent, like a clear miniature. But if you have thoughts on that, feel free to let us know what you'd prefer. I think it'd be cool because even if you want to paint your guys, you can paint over it translucent plastic just fine.
Yeah, we always love to squeeze in at least one translucent figure. We like the translucent ones.
Yeah, they're always awesome. We'll be taking a closer look at these guys during the stream a bit later. So if you're curious about who's who, don't worry about it. We'll answer those questions. But then once we revealed the Scions of Disgrace, we also went ahead and we created a new pledge tier that people could get in order to get these guys, but also get a little bit of an added bonus to it as well. So let's see if I can make that appear. Boom, there it is. The MVP pledge. So this is available on its own, of course, as a full pledge. But if you somehow want to get extra copies of it, just like the other pledges, it's available as an add-on as well. Basically, you get everything from the Myth and Goal pledge. You also get the Scions of Disgrace as a team as part of the bundle, and you also get the exclusive Team Spirit pack, which is something that I'm really excited about. I think it's really cool. Whenever you watch any sort of football games, I guess you always have the end zones of the teams decked out in their team logo, colors, what have you. So this is going to be really cool. It's going to basically provide you with some clear overlays you put over your bastion, which is essentially the end zone, I guess. And it's basically going to make it look like an official bastion for that team. So it really adds to the table presence, and you can also quickly tell who's playing who at a glance if ever you're in a tournament or whatever, walking around the tables. You'll also get the team scoring markers. So instead of using the generic ones for home and away in the box, you can use the ones that are specific to your team. And of course, in case it wasn't clear, the Scions of Disgrace are included in there as well. And then as an extra bonus, we're also throwing in a 3D myth ball. So the game itself comes with a token that you can use and put into the handy dandy clip on the side of the base ring. But
which I will always use. I'm a token guy myself.
Yeah. But for anyone who's
balls.
if anyone's really like a hobbyist, likes to paint up 3D stuff, or just likes the idea of having a 3D ball next to their 3D minis, well, there you go. That's for you.
It's funny because that's actually one of my least favorite parts about playing like Blood Bowl and Blitz Bowl are those little plastic balls. I wish they were token.
Yeah, I mean tokens are definitely I guess less at risk of rolling off or something, but I mean
yeah, and plus it's just like that clip's handy to hold it there, but I would just clip it off myself. I would just want the actual ball, but that's just me.
Right. I mean, I guess to each his own. But
yep.
Yeah,
I know that it's definitely something people want, and that's what we want to do. Is no matter what we like, we want to make sure we give people what they want.
Yeah.
Too,
so we have to kind of adjust on the fly to make sure that our own kind of desires fit in what our customers want, what our fans want. So it's
we have to make Brady accommodate sleeves, even though he hates them so much.
Yeah. I hate all the empty space in my organizers with people have space for sleeves. I don't need it.
But yes, we heard the demand for a plastic ball, and we are happy to accommodate.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, I think it's a good package for those who just want to get like all the really cool stuff in one shot. And then people were also asking, well, the Scions of Disgrace appeared. What's going on with the dice? So we did have the Scions dice added to the team dice packs as one of the possible selections. So just in case it wasn't clear from the update or from this graphic, essentially you add as many of this add-on as you want in your checkout, if you will, and you'll get that many dice sets. So if you want all 5 teams, just add the add-on 5 times when you're checking out. You'll be choosing the specific teams in the Pledge Manager. So when the Pledge Manager shows up, it'll say, okay, you got this team dice pack 4 times. Which 4 teams do you want? And in theory, you could get the same team 4 times or whatever. But either way, you'll choose the teams you want in the Pledge Manager. I'm a big fan of translucent stuff. I think we all agreed. We all said we're fans of translucent stuff. So translucent dice are always
translucent dice turn out great. Like if we have them in Altar Quest and Dire Alliance. Yeah. They got some samples for Dire Alliance and they look great. So
is it only the condition one, like the hex one?
The vampire.
Sorry.
Blood red.
Okay.
It's probably gonna look a lot like the Scions of Disgrace dice.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Okay, so let's take this time to scroll through the questions here and see if we can find anything.
Now, I
Um,
did see quite a few like rules questions, and while we can try to answer some of those, we've been involved in playtesting where we've been through lots of iterations of rules. We were actually hoping to have James join us today, but today happens to be his birthday. So
Happy birthday,
happy
James.
birthday to
Happy
James.
birthday to James.
Hope James and Sophie are having a nice day celebrating that occasion. But yeah, hopefully we can maybe get him on a live stream next week, maybe, and get really into the thick of the rules. But like I said, we can try to answer some questions you might have, but we might just hold off and say we'll let James address that.
It's not gospel because it might have changed or maybe still is in flux. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. And anything that's currently in the beta rule book, in terms of clarity or positioning in the book, that sort of thing, obviously we'll be working on the rule book throughout development to make it as clear as possible, making sure that anything that might be, a frequently asked question is called out, that sort of thing. But let's see what we got here. So what's on Brady's shirt? We answered that already. So do you take the fatigue after the action completes or during? It would be after. Once you're done with your action, you flip. I had this question too, and I asked James, so that's why I know right off the top of my head. You put your action token, you do your action, and then once it's done, you flip it to the fatigue side. I don't know if you guys had anything to clarify there, but
Yeah, I think there was actually a player's ability that lets him discard the token without flipping it to fatigue.
right, yeah, the
That
thrill of
timing
the
is
flight
important. So.
ability, yeah.
But we'll make sure that in the final rules that's super clear too. Like, we'll make sure to bring that up.
Yeah, we'll probably have some examples of timing and stuff. Can we get clear advice on if you tackle someone, you don't get the ball? Yeah, from what I remember in the actual results on the chart, I don't have it in front of me, but if you tackle the ball, the player goes prone, and as part of the prone rules, the ball falls to the ground. You don't pick it up, but you pick it up.
Now that there might be
via
some
other
player
ways.
abilities that are really good at tackling and can steal the ball, and that's where player abilities come in, or tactic cards.
And yes, we'll make sure that handing off the ball and just overall how you get the ball is maybe clear in the final rule book, because I know it might be difficult to find when you're scanning it for the first time. So how's solo mode coming along? We are still making sure that James is happy with the presentation, and that he's happy that with what the public will see for the first time, essentially. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add to that, but we're still
Yeah, I mean, we were
sure.
Yeah, again, James has been super busy with projects too, so he's been trying to balance that with stuff like his birthday and everything.
Mhm.
But we're hoping next week we might have something ready. But stay tuned on that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is because some of the stuff, the clarity and everything on just the normal rules, that all affects solo. So anything something needs cleaned up on the regular rules, it's like double the work on the solo end. So it's just kind of checking all that stuff, make sure it lines up, and we want to make sure it's got the best presentation when it's revealed.
Right, and overall though, the gist of how solo works is very well explained in James's video on the campaign page. So, like, what you see in there will be very close to what will be revealed once it's ready. But it's more the specifics, certain interactions, that sort of thing. He's polishing that up to make sure that you guys don't have questions and end up scratching your heads. Can you confirm catching a ball in an occupied space doesn't get a penalty, i.e. throwing a ball to a friendly player in a square with an opponent doesn't affect either dice pool? I don't have the rules in front of me, so the question maybe isn't something I can answer off the top of my head. I don't know if Adam, if you got that.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the rules myself too on that one.
Yeah, but basically if there's a supporting player, it'll tell you where that supporting player needs to be. And if there's a penalty, if you get a bonus from them, basically. So you have to check the action for pass and or throw or shoot, and it'll tell you where the supporting player bonuses come from. But if there's nothing written there, or if those don't apply, then you don't have any bonuses. Basically, it's range. The range of the throw is going to potentially affect what the defending player gets in terms of dice and the amount of supporting players he has. What else we got? Are the Scions playing Mythball for the purpose of collecting the Mythic Chalice ring, being that it's made from a powerful artifact? Are they hoping it's the key to bring back Disgrace? Oh, that's a lore question for Brady. Do we have that answer?
Well,
Brady, do you have
well,
anything in mind there?
Is
We do have some
the
lore that
important
I've
question
seen.
is Grace actually gone? That's the important question.
That is a good one.
But a lot of that stuff, a lot of the motivations are kind of. I mean, that's sort of something that would be revealed later on, as opposed to something that you know right off the bat. So we will have little lore nuggets and stuff like that, but I won't spoil it.
Yeah. And we will be having a closer look at the Scions. Like I said, well, we're going to be showing them off in this stream, but in the actual updates, we'll have a sort of mini profile with, you know, a couple of extra blurbs for you. Translucent stuff would be awesome. Indeed, it would be.
Noted.
So, Holland Paul asks, is the name on the card the only difference between a free agent and the faction player?
Typically, yes. That's not to say definitively, because it's very easy. We want to keep the design space open to where, like, maybe this freelance, free agent works a little differently than its team counterpart. But overall, it's really a way for you to hire a player from a team you like. It's like, I like the way that this human sentinel works. I want to put him in my dwarf team. So that card is just an extra card of that player. So typically their abilities and their stats are the same. Right.
What else you got? Should do this. Can we put the football into the 109 pledge? At this point, it's exclusive to the MVP pledge. We want to make sure that we give people who go for that a little extra value added to that package. To thank them for grabbing it.
It's always tricky to try to find ways. Like, you want to make sure you give people what they want. But you also have to find ways to make the people that want the special bundle, it's like they want that incentive to get it. So, it's always a challenge to find the right balance there. So,
right. Will there be so I'm a big game content over minis guy. Will there be a way to get all the game content in a standee format?
Not at this time. The standee version is really just a way for people that want to dip their toes into the game.
Right.
Yeah, because we can't. Yeah, it's hard because we cannot estimate how many of each type people will want. And it's mostly we'll be spending about the same amount of money on production regardless. So we need to make sure we have the miniatures version. That's the core offering. So
honestly, the standee versions always tend to sell way less than the miniatures version, so it's really hard to justify the print run.
Right, and that's
lots of stuff.
And it's also not like the game that you're getting. It's not like you're paying mostly for just the miniatures. I mean, you're getting a highly produced board game, with all the components and everything that we typically offer. Right. It's got the miniatures there as a premium offering, and that's kind of that's the package deal. So it's just not it's not viable to offer different versions of that with the same content, because we can't siphon each of those things out individually all the time.
Right. And I think it's just important to point out that, like, a lot of things seem easy to do on paper, when you're, outside looking in, that sort of thing. But it's important to understand that there's a lot of decision making that goes behind the creation of any sort of content, beyond, or just, for example, we have minimal print runs, packaging costs, various logistical concerns that I can't even think about right now. So overall, everything that we could do and create has to be budgeted for. We have to take a whole bunch of stuff into consideration. And so right now, at this point in time, the standee stuff is pretty much exclusive to the rookie pledge. And
now, that being said, if this was $1 million Kickstarter, that'd be a whole different story. We'd have a lot more options.
Funding matters a lot. Yeah. So, happy birthday to James. Well, there we go. We got the first well wish. So that's awesome. All right. So before we get into more questions, we'll let them accumulate some more. I think we'll take a closer look at the Scions, shall we? I'm going to switch over here. Okay, so everyone should still hear me and should still hear the brothers. So check, do you guys check? Yeah, check. There we go. So, let us take a closer look at some of these Scions of Disgrace. We'll start off with, the four most interesting guys, in my opinion. I want to know their backstories. I don't even have access to them. So, we've got I guess we can call them the undead walkers of sorts. We've got Lane, who is...
Oh, they're zombies. You can call them zombies.
I'm trying to not step on any toes. So we've got Lane, the Guardian, and the lore that I have so far for him internally is,
which is it's truncated. The longer story is
Lane is a she.
Oh, Lane is a she. Okay, so that's important to note.
It's a little not as a little higher pitched still.
Yeah, I can't do it. My voice would crack. Then we also have Wildrick, who is another Guardian, who also joins his friend. Also listed pretty much as in the lore. So we also have Shane the Sentinel and Rogus the other Sentinel. So these would make up, the four of the zombies, I guess, in the crew, in the squad.
Yeah. These are essentially your zombie linemen. We split up into two different kinds. So we have the Guardians, which are a little tougher, they're more defensive, and then the Sentinels are just the roundabouts. They're all rounders. But yeah, they're your zombies. They are your I don't know.
I'm excited to see their abilities. To be honest, I really want to see what they can do. I know that they're still in the works, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be very interesting to play as. I'm very curious about their speed. That's going to be the key. Like are they gonna have low speed but really high everything else? So I'm very curious to know what we're gonna do with those.
Zombies like to grab. They like to grab you harder.
So maybe they'll prevent you from running away. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out which one of these I like the most. I don't know. They're all really cool. I guess I'm a fan of what do you call those? The big tails that stick out of the back of the
plumes.
The plumes. There you go.
Yeah, that's how you tell the females there. They have the plumes.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I love their belt buckle, which is also their team logo. That big creepy skull of some sort of beast. Very cool.
Just cool looking zombies.
Perhaps that's Grace's skull. I don't know. Then we'll move on to the more the larger individuals. There we go. So let's see what we got first here. We have a ranger by the name of Splitgut. What can you guys tell me about this guy?
This is a ghoul. Ghouls are quick. They're kind of a more evolved version of a zombie. They're quicker. They're
they're less like zombies, and they're more just like degenerated feral, humanoid type creatures that just feed off of corpses. So
they are also much faster than zombies. Yeah. So this is where your speed comes in for your Scions of Disgrace team. You want to get Splitgut the ball, and he'll get it in the bastion for you, eating people along the way.
The only way you become a successful grave robber is by avoiding detection and being slippery, and that's what he's good at.
I almost feel like the moment that the Scions walked out onto the field, the sun should have been blotted out or something, and clouds appearing or something. Like, it should be a lot darker right now. It seems it's too festive for these guys.
Yeah, we should get we should have a clear overlay like those bastion things, but it's just like blood splatters.
Put it all over the map. And then joining our friend Splitgut here, we have my favorite, Nathaniel the Charger, who is clearly a lycanthrope of sorts. What can you tell me about him? Or
werewolves. Werewolves they're fast as well, but they're also strong. I mean, obviously, werewolves are tough. So this guy is kind of your star player of the team. He's going to be fast and brutal.
Nice. That's what a werewolf should be. Yeah, I really love this art. So good. I could stare at it all day. But
yeah,
we'll move on.
One thing worse than a werewolf is a werewolf with full armor.
Right. I didn't even think of that. Man, yeah, look at those spikes. Oof, you don't want to be tackled by this guy. What else we got? We have a specialist, which the term specialist just scares me because all I know is Lars Thunderwick in the Dwarves is a specialist, and he kept kicking my butt when I played against him. So we have Braxel. What can you tell me about Braxel, the specialist of the Scions?
So yeah, specialists are a little. They're the more unique players. They don't really fall into a specific position. They kind of do some, they're like the wild card. They do some weird things in the game. As the dwarf, for example, that dwarf specialist plays a little different than the rest of the dwarves. He's kind of like, their wild card. This guy is pretty much, it's a flesh golem, and it's pretty much almost invulnerable to damage. Like their flesh golems are just meat shields.
Interesting. So maybe that'll play into their fatigue.
Not the smartest player, but just tough.
Right, yeah. So this might play into their fatigue limit, perhaps. Maybe they'll be a lot more resilient than the others. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll ask James. I'm pretty sure this guy's going to have like 5 or 6 of those. What the toughness?
Mm-hmm.
I forget the
new resolve, right?
Resolve. There you
go. And last but not least, potentially the translucent one, we have a Vanguard by the name of Victon Abernathy. What's up with this one?
Change the name to the translucent one.
The translucent one.
The great old white translucent one.
Victon, the translucent one.
So
yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
As a Vanguard, he's he's good at he's a fast player. Good at getting in position, maybe catching the ball, running it in. But you can only assume that a Wraith would be very good at evading. Probably.
That's a cool image. It's all faded.
Yeah, and parts of the lore I have here seems that Baron Victon Abernathy was cursed to roam the mortal world in an eternal form of malice. He's devoted the rest of his unnatural life to the game of Mythball. Well, if I got nothing better to do and I'm stuck here, I might as well play some Mythball.
All the other ones have taken up the other pursuits. He's like, I might as well do Mythball instead.
Interesting. Maybe he'll be working on getting that ring, like someone in the comments said there earlier. Maybe he'll do something with it. Cool. Yeah. I'm a werewolf guy. I really love the werewolf, but they're all really cool looking. It's really hard to pick a favorite. I think the artist really knocked it out of the park with these guys.
Yeah, it's a diverse team. They they have a lot of different. It's not just like one race of players. You got a mix of zombies and ghoul and werewolf, a little bit of everything, which is cool.
Yeah. So you can pick and choose your favorite, I suppose, once you get your hands on them. All right, let me switch back to the main screen here. There we go. Still looks like it's working perfect. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that closer look at the Scions of Disgrace. Let's see if I can scroll back up. I don't know if you guys had anything else you wanted to add, by the way, before I try to find some more questions. If you had anything you wanted to say about the Scions or various other...
Nothing specific. Don't want to give away too much about like how they play and stuff like that, since they're still in testing and everything like that. So I think most people get an idea of what they would do on the field. But yeah, it's overall, like I said, it's a cool, diverse team. I think it's definitely one to get if you're interested at all in the game. Like it's a good purchase.
Right. Yeah. And just in case it wasn't clear, let me pop it back on the screen really quick here. So you're going to get the 16 miniatures. You're going to get the 8 of them are going to be for player purposes. The other 8 are going to be free agents. And 16 cards, same thing. You'll also get your team faction card, which has their backstory, and even more importantly, on the flip side, you'll have your quick start setups, so aggressor or defender. And the AI dashboards, you get 2 of them. That's super important if you want to play solo mode. So you'll be able to go up against them and see if you're able to defeat what probably can't be defeated. I mean, look at these guys. They're already dead, or at least some of them. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and before I forget, also another exciting thing about popping into October is tomorrow is October 2nd, which means we have another bi-weekly unlock occurring. So look forward to that. We'll be showing it off in Saturday's update. A lot of interesting new things being added to the game so far via these unlocks, as you noticed. So we've got the hazard cards, which I'm super excited about. Last time we did a Q&A, we were talking about how we grew up playing that Mutant League football and hockey and all that stuff on the Genesis. And I loved having those weird things happen in the game, like potential things on the field or things that occur environmentally. So yeah, the hazard cards are definitely going to throw a lot of wrenches into the gears if you're into that kind of thing. You don't have to use them; they're optional. But for those of you guys who want unpredictability, that's going to be something you're going to like. And of course, we had the stadium cards, which I'm super excited about. The fact that you really get to like theme the game based on where you are in Grimaron.
These things really play up the modularity of the game. So many different ways you can kind of change the game to however you want to play. You can keep it super basic if you want, or you can just like start adding in these different elements with free agents or like all-star mode or stadium cards, all that stuff. Just kind of tailor the game to your group's liking.
Right. Yeah, and you can go as thematic as you want, as crazy as you want. It's got a lot of great modularity. But either way, yeah. So tomorrow, look forward to another unlock. We'll see what it is, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that one. All right, so like I was saying, let's see what we got. Any chance of using the teams here as adversaries in Lasting Tales?
Yeah, the stats are in the bestiary because they're all based on those types.
Yeah, as I say, you could probably. I mean, you could do that. The one thing to keep in mind though is these miniatures are going to be a little different scale than our fantasy series miniatures. These miniatures are scaled towards fantasy football. Typical fantasy football miniatures, which are mostly 32 millimeter scale, so a little bigger. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them would fit into categories.
Makes them more imposing and Lasting Tales, right?
They're already wearing armor. It's just we different aesthetic armor.
We have werewolves in Lasting Tales. We have wraiths. We have zombies. Got humans and elves and.
All you gotta do is have the because Lasting Tales is all about making your own story. So all you have to do is have some story about what's going on with these athletes or whatever, and then you got yourself a tale.
Yeah, travel to Grimaron and see what's going on.
Want to do a promo if this thing funds well, maybe we do a promo like adventure in Lasting Tales rules of like the siege of a mythball arena or something.
That would be so cool. What else we got? Not asking for a spoiler, as is Legend Forge here. Not asking for a spoiler, but in playtesting, has there been a team that's playstyle really stood out or unique, maybe different than you would expect from their other game counterparts? I mean, I guess there's different ways of answering that, but overall, I guess in your minds, are there any teams that you, I guess, prefer or that really stood out to you or that you want to make?
I mean, I can't say it because they're not revealed yet. So
I'll just say I'm always a high elf man myself, and I usually play high elves or humans. But it's important to keep in mind that the team's play style isn't as defined as it is in other games because a team has strengths and weaknesses, but you also pick your focus. So you kind of build your play style with every game. You can pick different combinations. That being said, there are interesting combinations, like a nimble dwarf team. That's interesting. I mean, that's not what you'd expect.
Yeah, you can either lean into the strengths with the focuses, or kind of compensate for the weaknesses and make them more balanced. It's kind of how the way you want to go, but yeah, there's more control on this side where if you have a certain thematic team you like, you can kind of customize them slightly to make them more what you want them to be.
And even with the focus, you also have your tactics cards. So the tactics cards you choose in a certain period can change what your team does. So like the play styles can be all over the place. It's not as predictable as it is in other games.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the first thing that really jumped out at me when I was going over this originally. When you guys showed me the rules and stuff, was definitely you kind of don't necessarily have to get out of that mindset of what the previous games did, but it definitely has you're not stuck with those archetypes as strongly as you would be in those games in this one.
Yeah,
again,
especially
because of the flexibility.
Free agent rules.
Yeah,
you can mix it up even more.
Love the background art here for the stadium. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, the box art just blew me away when we first got it. And I love the background itself, just the crowd going nuts, and yeah, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think this game has some of the best art we've ever had in a board game. It's great.
Yeah, I know we invested a lot in it, and it paid off. Definitely pops. Split Gut is fantastic. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's pretty awesome. I love the fact that he's crouching. He's all like, bleh.
Yeah, I think we've had like a ghoul in like 4 different games now, so we have all kinds of ghoul miniatures coming.
You can never have too many ghouls.
I forget the sculpted fantasy. Was it crossed over to Fantasy Series 1? Or like chewing on a bone? Or
No, the one in Alter Quest was chewing on a bone.
that's
Or like
that's true. Yeah,
a haunch of meat.
Yeah.
Holland Paul's asking, in solo mode, it sometimes specifies to use the closest player to the ball carrier. Will be defined in the rules what to do if there are ties for closest. I'm sure that'll be added if it's not already there. Again, that's another reason why James sometimes is going over everything, make sure there's other occurrences he might not have thought of that he wants to add. But
typically, we also Bray and I, when we do on our games, we like to make that kind of a difficulty scaling thing where you can play an easier mode where you choose the closest, or if you're playing harder, you always choose what's worse for you. Like you always choose the thing that will make the game more difficult for you, and that just makes the game more difficult.
Yeah. Well, what's the term they used in
the Grim
Arkham Horror? The Grim Rule. Yeah. I think
which I think was actually started with Lord of the Rings because they carried it over. But wasn't that in Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game?
Might have been.
I think they put that in the rulebook. I think.
Wasn't okay.
Awesome. I don't know.
Well,
I remember seeing
maybe it was just talking about difficulty in general. I forget.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I remember because I play so much Arkham that I remember that name, the Grim Rule. What else? Were bunnies. Okay, guys, we have to make it happen.
Yeah, we had all kinds of crazy ideas for teams for this game. It was always difficult because you want to make sure you give people what they want, and a lot of people expect to start with the foundational things that they're familiar with. Like I want to have dwarves, I want to have elves. It's like but we also want to get weird with it. We want to do weird stuff. The only thing is you never know how good a campaign's going to do. So
right, yeah. I mean, I totally understand that because if I've never played any of the previous games, and I want to get myth and goal, you want those staples of the fantasy genre available to you immediately, right?
Especially if we're doing fantasy football miniatures that might appeal to other players, you want to make sure you have teams that are available to other people. It's like, oh yeah, I love playing dwarves in Blood Bowl, so I want to have some dwarf miniatures. So you want to have those bases covered. But like you said, sometimes you have people that never played fantasy football. This is their first game.
Right.
Yeah, you want the basics. You want the humans and elves and dwarves and orcs.
Yeah.
At least that's what I might be way off, but
yeah. But when we do the bunnies in season 2, then we go up to 1 million. Then we'll know. Yeah, we'll know we did wrong.
Yes. We do a entire team of Van Geysers, and people love it.
Yeah, I'm sure we could get a lot crazier in season 2. I know some of the ideas we've been tossing around are very interesting. Van Geyser team. I'd buy that.
We can have a whole mutant team inspired by Mutant League football.
And for those who don't know what Van Geyser is, check out our Alter Quest campaign from back in the day. But essentially, he's a man horse, I guess would be because horseman.
They're called steerns.
The steern.
Yeah, it was a very controversial character.
Yeah, people couldn't wrap their head around whether or not the steern actually rode horses. So it's like a person with a horse head riding a horse. I'm like, what's so weird about that? What's so weird about that?
I remember walls of debates about that, if it was even possible or if that was in universe. And I was like, man,
yeah,
it's an interesting question.
Anthropomorphic stuff's fine until you put a horse head on something, and all of a sudden it's like, what is this?
We got. Love the Hazard and Stadium cards. Well, good because we love them too, and I'm really excited about those. I'm a big fan of chaos in my games. Some people love have the Euro mentality, which is I must be in control of everything, and everything is a result of my actions. I'm the opposite. I'm an Ameritrash gamer for sure over Euro, and I love chaos stuff. I love dice and unpredictability. Sorry, I keep scrolling up and down. I keep losing the questions here. Really like the bi-weekly unlocks. Thank you for adding these. Well, no problem. We're excited to be able to give them to you guys again because especially these modular elements really spice up the game. I think in interesting ways. Any thoughts on future new stadiums? I'm not sure if you mean like the cards or if you mean the board, but either way, there are definitely thoughts.
Yeah,
about
thoughts
those.
about new anything in this game.
I love the choice in the games. In the game, lean into your strengths or compensate for your weaknesses. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the offense defense struggle is real in this game because no matter how much offense you get going, your defense might suffer. So you have to keep balancing that. It's awesome. A lot of good choices. A lot of good hard choices sometimes. Can we expect other free agents that are riding critters like the Dwarf Crusher?
So that's a good question. I was actually kind of wondering how that one would be received. It seems like people like it overall, so that's good. And if that's the case, then yeah, we could definitely have more mounted characters in the game. They just have to be mounted on things that aren't too big because they need to fit on the same size base as all the players. Because we can't really have big. I mean, we weren't really planning to have big, huge miniatures in this game. So
this is another instance where I have to kind of appeal to the fan base because I personally hate mounted
Bray
miniatures.
doesn't like mounted miniatures, but that's okay.
It's like not with a scale.
I'm on team mounted. That sounds weird. I like mounted stuff. What else you got? Are the orcs going to be generally taller than those of, say, the humans, dwarves? I assume that the 32 millimeter scale will apply to the general size of each race.
Yes. Or the orcs will be slightly bigger than humans. Dwarves will be shorter. It's going to be very close in scale to other fantasy football miniature ranges. I have a collection myself that I am going to be using when I do the scale charts for all the miniatures, making sure that everything is in scale with each other. And every player will be on a 32 millimeter base. That's the plan.
Daniel here says, in a nutshell, how is the ball passed from one player to a teammate? I don't have the rules in front of me. I know we've gone through different iterations, but I believe it's passing it, or if you end your run action in the same space as a teammate, right? You can just hand it off.
You can throw the ball to a teammate, which is just considered a pass, and then you can also just hand it off if you end your run in a space with another player on your team.
I remember an older version was you had to start and grab it from someone as part of your turn, but I think it flipped over so that you can end and pass it, end your run there. So Brian says, good to know, just picturing a huge orc the same size as a dwarf, LOL. So I guess he just wanted to make sure we weren't going to have dwarves as big as orcs.
We're not going to have a dwarf the size of the one in the D&D movie.
Man, I tried to erase that movie from my mind.
The first one, I should specify. I don't remember if it had a tagline, but
Jeremy Irons is in it, so I mean that's always a good thing. But other than that,
dwarf that was taller than everybody else in the party.
I know they're working on a new D&D movie from what I remember seeing, but I don't know.
Yes, and I hear it's going to be good.
Yeah, the new one's written by John Francis Daley, so I have high hopes. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, that should be good. What else? Rather seen. Is there a fantasy race that's criminally underrepresented in sports games that should have a team?
Halflings.
Well, it depends on what you mean by that. I know for a fact that I've been waiting on Games Workshop to produce a High Elf Blood Bowl team forever. They keep putting out teams, and that one's never been released.
How is that
so
not out yet?
Exactly. It's like one of the core teams, and it's still out.
Well, it's a core team for us. We care.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic because we got into Warhammer, and I was always so annoyed because they never would release the Wood Elf army, the updated Wood Elves. They were always forgotten in the Warhammer Fantasy, but in Blood Bowl they were like one of the first Elf teams, right?
They were the second Elf team.
Yeah, it's like right away. It's like here's Wood Elves.
They're pretty good, pretty cool looking team too.
Yeah, there's good sculpts.
But yeah, as far as fantasy races,
gnomes.
Yeah, I mean
small guys, small ones.
There's halflings are pretty popular, like in like
they're a joke though in some of them.
I know, but they're still popular just because they're not like the best team.
They don't have to be the best.
Just but yeah, I'm trying to think like
horsemen.
I guess like nature. There's like treatment in fantasy football teams.
Easy like mermaids because of the water. Any like sea elves or like.
But I was thinking
that would be something cool, man. Having like a myth ball game on water, like with like myth polo. But then everyone would have to get a mount. Those who can't swim, they'd have to have some sort of dolphin or whatever, and Brady wouldn't like that.
Nope.
A mimic team. That would be interesting. A bunch of treasure chests or whatever. You have to break them open to get the ball that they've ingested as they're running around.
Those sculpts wouldn't look anything alike, right? You could easily tell the difference between each player.
Who's gonna build a full 3D stadium for Myth and Gold? You know what? I can't remember his name. There's one of our fans. He built a whole 3D Altar Quest board. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was really cool. I'd be very interested to see if he does a Myth Ball stadium with that.
I feel like about every game out there's had somebody out there. Somebody has somewhere built a 3D board or table for it.
Yeah, well, at least we got the ball rolling with the 3D gatehouses. So that's one step done. Are you open to revealing other teams as add-ons? Right now, we have definitely other teams that we want to reveal to the world. We do have. I think it's obvious that there's more teams coming. If you look at the page right now, we're building up to something. We're constantly...
We're super close to unlocking enough lizards, reptilians for a whole team, which would be cool. That'd be really cool.
That'd be a neat stretch goal.
Yeah,
but I think the big challenge is, like we've mentioned before, is when you make an add-on available in a campaign, you have to commit to producing that, regardless of how many people actually choose to back it.
Yeah.
And you can probably tell, like when we had the reveal of the Scions of Disgrace add-on team, you could see it didn't have like a huge effect on funding yet.
Or the number of backers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either like the funding didn't go that high up, and then we didn't attract a bunch of backers. So like we have to produce that team now, regardless of how many people back it. So it's a gamble to do that. To commit to too much without having the funds to actually do that. We're just not like one of the bigger publishers out there that has a lot of capital to just throw around to produce whatever we want to produce. We have to make sure we have enough funding to do it. So it's a challenge. We're super excited to show things, but we have to make sure we can afford to produce it and actually commit to making it. So
it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's just it's hard because Kickstarters turn into like this the perception of how Kickstarter projects are made. It's kind of been skewed by some of the bigger names out there who can just kind of go like, we'll just put whatever you want on the page, willy-nilly, doesn't matter because we can deal with underselling or whatever. But we're a smaller independent publisher, and everything we do is has to be considered, the budgeted and all that stuff. So just rest assured that anything that we can do, that works within our parameters, we will do, because we want to make sure that everyone gets excited, and that Myth and Goal has as much awesome content available for it as possible. So how likely is it that Myth and Goal have future expansions? So I guess it's like how we were been asked about, will there be seasons 2 or something like that?
So this is something that I saw some comments about this, talking about our previous projects, how sometimes we've done games and haven't expanded on them for whatever reason. Typically, we always go into a game hoping to do a bunch of stuff for it, but a lot of times our Kickstarter does well enough, we produce a lot of content right off the bat, and it's like that's years worth of content right there. So there's no reason to expand it just yet because there's just so much stuff out there already. But this one in particular, I feel like is ripe for expansions, because you could just put out a new team, every other, maybe 2 teams a year or something, and that's a steady stream of content.
It's important to see how it's received. That's the big thing is even if the game has decent reviews, there's a solid a loyal fan base, it still needs to be widely received well. And
I would say even regardless of funding, like if this one ended right now at this funding level and we released it and if people liked it, we would definitely want to do another Kickstarter for it. And even if it didn't do if the Kickstarter wasn't as big as we'd hoped, we would still want to do more content for the game to grow it more. Because I feel like once it's out there and people like it, a season 2 would be even more successful, because we'd have proven, to the backers that, they like this game, they want more of it. Okay, we'll do more.
Right,
but yeah, the hope is to keep doing more for it.
Because mission one, the goal is to make the game a reality, right? So we want the game out there, regardless, how that happens, and then people will play it, and they'll see how awesome it is, and then that'll let us continue to provide more stuff for it when we're able to. We definitely want to do more. Again, this is such a good game, and the teams you could create are all over the place.
And I'll say personally, like I'm super excited about this game myself, so I will definitely be, pushing to do more of it, because it's fun. Like I love playing it, and I can't wait to have a physical copy myself.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot with my friends on TTS, just to show them the game, and I can't stop playing it. It's such an addictive game. It's one of those like, one more game, man. I want to get you this time,
And it's going to be even faster to play off of the tabletop, on the actual table.
Yeah, tabletop simulators is so like it's a great tool, and it's great to provide people with the experience, but it's not the same experience. You can't quickly manipulate cards and organize your play area as you'd like, and zoom in, zoom out.
Everything takes longer. I mean, there's the benefit of being able to play with people from far away. If you live in Canada, we can actually play a game with you on Tabletop Simulator, but it still takes quite a long time to actually get through a game.
Yeah. I guess that'll do it for the questions from the audience. So, I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to say before we sign off, or.
I mean, thanks for backing it. It's awesome that the game's funded, and that's like you said, step one is making the game. So step one achieved.
Yeah, funded fast too within the first 24 hours. So as always, thanks for the support.
Yeah, I mean, just spread the word, because every the more backers we get, the more free stuff you get. We have more stretch goals planned. We'd love to hit them. If we don't, we will hopefully be able to release them in the future.
I do want to say too, I doubt that many people watching this are people that might be sitting on the fence, either putting the $5 pledge in just to watch how it goes. But I always try to encourage people, if you're going to sit and watch, you might as well put the pledge in, because that way you'll be helping see what all is possible to get with that pledge. Because if you're just putting the $5 in, it's not going to help see what might be unlocked. So if you want to wait and see, I'd suggest just putting the pledge in, and then setting a reminder on your phone or something to check back on the last day to see how it's looking. But it's always helpful to just put your pledge in and see how things are going, and spread the word, share the campaign, and just build excitement. And we'll do our best on our end as well.
And find those Blood Bowl players. It seemed like I was convinced that they would be all about these cheap miniatures. You can get like so many teams for a good price here.
The ironic thing is, I think if we had some more stretch goals, I think that'd be an easy sell, but it's got to get there first.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Everybody that I know that plays Blood Bowl, but I don't know that many. That's why I don't get to play very many games.
Yeah. I know maybe like a couple of Blood Bowl guys, and I don't see them as often as I should. Well, especially nowadays. But I'm looking forward to the days where we can have more game days again, when things are a little less chaotic in the world. But either way, I'm just going to reiterate what the brothers said. So thank you so much for backing, everyone. And if you are considering backing, just thank you for considering and for watching, and for helping to spread the word. Hopefully we answered some other questions people had in this stream. If not, ask them in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them when we can. We are a small team, so we have a lot of various responsibilities and tasks while we're running the Kickstarter. So we might not be as quick to reply as some other companies out there who have more dedicated comment section people, but we're going to do our best to answer as quickly as we can, and you can always reach out to us as well via our website and stuff like that,
and we're going to try hard to have either James and or Sophie on with us for a live stream either in the next week, so hopefully that can make that happen.
We are actively pursuing some sort of scheduling, so we're trying our hardest to make it happen for sure. But on that note, I guess, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys on the campaign page.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, everyone.
See ya.